Hey guys, Craig Zuckerman here with my son Lincoln, and all of us are sitting at home dealing with this quarantine. We're only 2 weeks into the homeschooling, and I'm sure you guys are doing good, not drawing crazy at all. Yeah. But what was crazy actually was my son complaining of back pain. 2 weeks in. I mean, that's crazy. So, we wanted to bring this video to you today to give you all the kinds of tips I can come up with to help you out with doing the Zooming at home or homeschooling for younger kids. We're going to do another video later that'll be for adults, high school kids, and college kids to help you guys out. But right now, I'm going to show you how to use just stuff around the house to make the best setup possible to prevent aches and pains in your kids. Okay, so no matter if you have a laptop that you're working with or an iPad or a laptop, the first thing you got to look at is what are you doing with the chair. As you can see, Lincoln right now, he's got this rounded lower back and he's kind of hunched over in front, and that's one of the first things that causes a lot of aches and pains, both in the upper body and the lower body. And we got to start at the lower body first. If we correct the lower back, we help the rest of the body. So we got to support the back, the lumbar. And if you have a great lumbar support, awesome, use it. If you have a good ergonomics chair, use it. But there's one little problem with these smaller guys. They're not always able to get all the way back into the chair because their legs are short, so they need some kind of support in the back. So depending on the size of your child, you could start with just a towel or a small pillow and throw that into their lower back. That instantly will create the curve that can let the rest of his body kind of straighten up. If, however, that's not enough because they really need to scoot forward, you can use like a large pillow off your bed. Go ahead, Link, scoot forward. And just use one of these guys, stuff it behind them. Make sure there's more in that lower back stuff down so it creates that curvature in the lower back. See how already that kind of holds them up and straightens them up towards the computer? That is what we need. We need this low back line. Keep that curve in the low back. That'll prevent them from having lower back pain. And it actually creates the ability for the upper body to be in its proper form too. All right, so now that we're here, the next big problem that happens, especially with laptops, and especially if you have a taller kid, is they're looking down all the time. Not too bad for like 20 minutes maybe, but when you're doing it for hours a day, that's going to start putting pressure on the neck. For every inch forward that their head is looking at that screen or looking down, it puts another 10 pounds of pressure on the back of their neck. So if they're having neck pain, even headaches, tension in their head, shoulder tension, it's probably coming from screen height. So a real simple thing you can do is grab some books. We got some incredibly heavy Calvin and Hobbes books. And the first thing you can start with is just stacking it up on the back. Now, the reason I do this is because they can still get to the keyboard, and most kids are pecking away anyway, so they're not going to hurt and get carpal tunnel from having an angled wrist. But it puts it now at a higher point so that he can look straight at it. He doesn't have to look down, and he can still hit the keyboard and peck away. Now, if you have a slightly older kid and they're into typing, you don't always want to create this kind of an angle, but still, even if he's typing, his wrists are straight. The big problem is if the wrist is bent, either that way or this way or angled. And he can still type with his elbows on the table. Now that's a big thing. If his elbows can rest on the tables, then his shoulders can relax. If there's nothing to support the elbows and the arm, then they start to create tension in these upper neck muscles, and again creates the pain in the neck pain and headaches. So this would work. But you could also move to putting it fully on the books, and as many books as you need to match that height where you want it kind of right in the center, eye line for your child, and then just get a second keyboard. Now, this can help with range. Now, if you have a kid that has a hard time seeing, maybe they have glasses or something like that, one thing you got to watch out for is how far away this is. If the screen's way back, then they're going to be pushing their head forward to try and see it. Killing my head. So, and you need it close enough that then they're not reaching their head forward to look at the screen. So that's a very important thing with where you're going to place this laptop, and then you have this secondary thing. Now, he looks a little bunched up here, so he can even stretch his arms out a little bit, get a little relaxed there, and this may be still a great distance for him. And same thing's going to happen. If you have a desktop sitting here and keyboard, just watch the height of the desktop by using books, or like I have something like this. This is a great little thing. They have all these different kinds of adjustable little desks like this that you can then throw your laptop on. So it's good so you can have it down lower when you're working. This can actually angle down, so you create that angle of the screen to lift it up for typing purposes. But if you want to do a little bit of time standing, maybe you get your kid to not sit for 9 hours a day, then you can use this, have it up height where they can use it as a standing desk and work on it as a standing desk too, as long as they're not doing like a long or prolonged typing where then they're going to kind of get into their shoulders also with that problem. So it's a great just a variation, because here's the biggest thing. Here is what causes repetitive stress injuries in the body. It's doing the same thing over and over again. So if you can make some slight changes throughout the day in whether standing, sitting, positions of the how many books, things like that, to do slight variations in your neck position, back position, this will go a long way to preventing pain in the body. Additionally with that is, what is he doing in his chair? If he's crossing his legs, especially, you don't want to tuck both your legs under you on the seat. Even crossing the one leg, if it's the same leg all the time, can create destabilization within the hips, creating hip pain and injuries to the hips. With kids especially, they're growing, their muscles are starting to grow, and this prolonged sitting in goofy positions with their legs bent under them can do some stuff to their hips that if they keep doing the same thing over and over again throughout this whole school year, they're going to have problems. So switching that up is a really good thing to do. And with that, a mouse is going to be another helpful thing instead of if they're using the trackpad. Here's why. Depending on how you use a trackpad, you tend to use your thumb. I've seen a lot of things in my studio, including it happen to myself, because that side press with the thumb started stressing the ligament on the thumb itself and created some problems and pain in my thumb. And I've had that with other clients too. So using a mouse is a great thing. It's also, if he's using a mouse, he can have his arm here. He doesn't want to be way out here. He keeps it down, rests his arm, can do all the things, all the adjustments here, instead of always, again, a repetitive stress of being in close with the hand. Last thing I want to say on this is, I also see a lot of students, or I have some clients that are students who have the computer off to one side so that they can then do their work in front of them, which I totally understand, except if the computer is always off to the side, look at Lincoln right now. His head's rotating. This rotation will start to stress the neck, again, if he's doing it over and over again. If you have no other choice and you have to have a computer on the side, just switch the side that it's on regularly. Or have a way with your books or with this where he could just gently push it back. Maybe put it on a small towel or a washcloth, a hand towel, so it slides easily on the table. He can slide it out of the way. He can do his work, keeping those elbows on the table. You're doing so good here. You having fun?
Yeah.
Doing good?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Cheap labor. Real cheap labor here. He just hangs out, does it. Although I'll probably pay for it later. But right now, cheap labor. But what you want to do is just the arms to rest and have that ability on there. If you have a fidgety kid, that's awesome. The more fidgety they are, that's actually great for their body and for their immune system and everything and how that works. So these are the basic things you got to look at. Now, yes, getting an ergonomic chair for a kid his age may not be the best investment for you, just because they're probably not going to sit far enough back to really use the ergonomics of the chair and the lumbar support. And you can really get away with a lot just using towels or a pillow. If you've seen my other videos, I love pillows, and I use them all the time. And this goes for on the couch. We have a great video about doing work on the couch. We have another great video for doing work in your bed, and I'll post links up there and I'll put them down in the descriptions too, so you can check on those, see how to best do that. And one last little thing with these guys, because they are shorter in stature, if their legs are dangling off the chair, this puts pressure on the back of the leg, the hamstring area. And we have some major arteries that run through there, and that can cause the hamstrings, the back of the leg muscles, to lock up, tighten up. And when that happens, it pulls on the low back and also causes pain. So grabbing a footstool, and they're pretty cheap, you can grab one of those, or grab some more books, stack up a book, a footstool. If you just have a little step stool, throw that onto their feet. Because what you want is wherever their legs are under here, you want it not to cut off into the back of the leg, so that pushes the legs up high enough that it puts some support and kind of lifts it up, so they have a little space, if you will, that it's not just their legs dangling off. So if you can correct that too, you've got the back support with the pillow, you got the towel, you got the books under here, a secondary keyboard if you can, or remember, just going back to that angled down, I used this all the time to help myself out and not kill my neck. Or if you want to throw some money at getting a little stand, you can get that too. All of this should be done as much as you can, help these kids out. It may think that they're young and nothing's gonna happen to them. They're fine. But I'm hearing it over and over again. I'm getting calls, I'm getting clients, I'm getting people coming in who are, well, not coming in, but on video who are having this problem. And I want to make sure that you guys don't have that same problem with your kids, because we're all dealing with enough in these times, and it's nice to have some help to make sure that we don't cause our kids any more pain. All right, I'm Craig Zuckerman with Lincoln. Yeah. And we're Z-Line Fitness. Hey guys, if you like this video and want to see more like it, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Also, click that bell. Then you'll get notifications the next time we put out a video. If you like us, click on the like button. You can also leave us questions and comments below. We love it. And see you next time.